Learn something in.
What if pinag-aralan natin maiging kasaysayan ng Pilipinas? What if binigyan natin ng pansin ng mga nangyari sa loob ng ating bansa? Halina't pakinggan ang ating kasaysayan.
The Philippine Constitution.
The Philippine Constitutions. The Philippine Constitutions doesn't guarantee happiness, only the pursuit of it. You have to catch up with it yourself. In simple terms, the Constitutions is the basic law of the nation that guarantees the rights of the people and determines the power of the government. This video will be discussing the creation of the Philippine Constitution and its various revisions in order to fit the Philippine culture and practices. Some revisions of the Philippine Constitutions were also made in order to support the creation of the new government system. Fortunately, after the several changes of the Philippine Constitution, the country was able to create a refined and polished constitution, the 1987 Constitution, which until now the country is using.
The Constitutions of the Katipunan. The First Republic can be traced back to the Revolution of 1896, which was led by the Katipunan, a covert organization with a structured model of Freemasonry by the goal of achieving independence for the Philippines. The President of the Supreme Council, whose most well-known member was Andres Bonifacio, served as its leader. There were Katipunan members in Manila and other Philippine provinces. The organization experienced problems as a result of political and other disagreements between the members from Manila and other provinces. As a result, the organization's officials decided to hold a convention in an effort to try and reunite the society. It was on November 1, 1897 that the Republic of Biak-na-Bato o Republica de Biak-na-Bato was established during a meeting held at Biak-na-Bato in town of San Miguel de Mayomo, Bulacan. This was a de facto constitutional republic. In this meeting, Constitution written by Isabelo Artacio and Felix Ferrer was promulgated by the Katipunan, which acted as Constitutional Assembly. The Constitution of Biak-na-Bato, known as Constitución Provisional de la República de Filipinas, was short-lived as it operated only from November 1, 1897 and December 14, 1897.
Next is the most short-lived constitution of the Philippines. The Philippines has had a total of 6 constitutions since the proclamation of independence on June 12, 1896. In 1899, the Malolos Constitution, the first Philippine Constitution, the first Republican Constitution in Asia, was drafted and adopted by the First Philippine Republic, which lasted from 1899 to 1901. During the American occupation, the Philippines was governed by the laws of the United States of America. Organic acts were passed by the United States Congress for the administration of the government of the Philippine Islands. The first was the Philippine Organic Act of 1902, which provided for a Philippine Assembly composed of Filipino citizens. The second was the Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916, which included the first pledge of the Philippine independence. These laws served as constitutions of the Philippines from 1902 to 1935. The Malolos Constitution was in operation from January 23, 1899 to March 23, 1901. It provided for the creation of an Assembly of Representatives to act as legislative body and a parliamentary republic as the form of government. The acts, such as the Philippine Organic Act of 1902, the Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916, and the Tydings-McDuffie Act of 1934, were considered as the Constitution. Next is the Tydings-McDuffie Act of 1934. Tydings-McDuffie Act of 1934. On March 24, 1934, the United States passed the Tydings-McDuffie Act that allowed the Filipino nation to have self-government.
The enactment of the McDuffie-Tydings Bill marked a new era in the relation of great nations with weaker ones. The United States has granted the Philippines their independence, thus completely surrendering its sovereignty over the people of the Philippine Islands.
A 10-year transition period was granted by this act so that Filipinos could be more prepared for self-government and full independence. Unlike the other two facts which could be considered constitution, the Tydings-McDuffie Act of 2034 could not be considered as a constitution, but still very important document which provided authority and defined mechanisms for the establishment of a formal constitutional convention. The eventful day arrived on July 4, 1946, when the United States recognized the Philippine independence in the Treaty of Manila. The Philippine-American Friendship Day is celebrated every 4th of July to commemorate the Philippine independence from the United States of America. Next is the 1935 Philippine Constitution. On May 14, 1935, the Constitution of the Philippines was ratified by a large majority of the Filipino people. The 1935 Constitution of the Philippines, which created the Commonwealth of the Philippines, was based on the principle of separation of powers among the three branches of government. Accordingly, the 1935 Constitution was written with an eye to meeting the approval of the United States government so as to ensure that the U.S. would live up to its promise to grant the Philippines independence. It was also on this day in 1910 that the then Commissioner Manuel L. Quezon delivered an eloquent speech in the United States Congress pleading for Philippine independence.
I, Manuel Luis Quezon, hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully and conscientiously fulfill my duties as President of the Philippines, and I hereby declare that I recognize and accept the supreme authority of the United States of America in the Philippines and will maintain full faith and allegiance thereto. So help me.
Next was the 1943 Constitution, the 1986 Freedom Constitution, and lastly, the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The 1997 Constitution established a representative democracy with the power divided among three separate and independent branches of government: the executive, a bicameral legislature, and the judiciary. The 1987 Philippine Constitution was drafted by Constitutional Assembly that was mandated in Proclamation No. 3 by Corazon C. Aquino from various backgrounds. Former member of the House of Representatives, former Justice of the Supreme Court, a Roman Catholic bishop, a political activist against Marcos regime, Cecilia Muñoz Palma, who was a former Associate Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, was elected by the Commission as its president. The final draft of the 1987 Constitution was finished on October 12, 1986, and was presented to President Aquino on October. The Constitution was ratified on February 8, 1987 through a nationwide plebiscite. And lastly, a constitution embodies the fundamental principles of a government. And as I've stated earlier, a constitution doesn't guarantee happiness, but only the pursuit of it.